This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Nick George.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Are you in need of psycho-spiritual healing and therapy? One place might be closer than you think. Today, I have the great pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Mary Richardson, with Evolve Healing Therapies. Mary, how's it going?
It's going great, Nick. Thank you. How about yourself?
Did I say that right? Psycho-spiritual? Okay. I thought I screwed up at the last second. I'm doing great, actually. This is always the highlight of my day. Tell us all about your practice.
So my practice, Evolve Healing Therapies, I'm the owner and sole practitioner. I guess the objective of the practice is to help people to reconnect with their authentic self. When we're kids and we're brought up and we're, what's the word? Well, when we're brought up, sometimes we get faced with beliefs about ourselves that aren't true. We pick up things as we're going along, as we're being domesticated. There's the word I was looking for. So what I do is I try to help people find some of those beliefs, some of those things they're carrying around about themselves that aren't true, bring light of awareness to those things and healing. And then I go a step further into the integration as well, because those things show up in our daily lives as habits, thoughts, emotions, whatever. And so I help them to identify those things and work through those as well.
And how did you get into this line of work? Go back as far as you want.
It's been a twisty, windy road. So my professional life started out in the Army. I was an active duty physical therapist. And of course, in that adventure, watching how the body will actually heal itself if you give it the right set of circumstances. My Army career was brought abruptly to a halt with a motorcycle accident. So I got to live through a lot of what I saw my patients live through, and realizing how physical injury really can affect you on so many different levels. And that really spurred my interest in looking at how we engage with our world, with our emotions and our thoughts. And through a few more twists and turns, that led me to an interest in metaphysical things. And I ended up getting a second doctorate then in metaphysical healing. And in the process of doing that, seeing that really where effective healing happens is when you get in and really look at the stuff that's driving you, that's driving the person. And so that's where my practice even has evolved. That's kind of why I named it that. So it evolves the person and it's allowed to evolve itself as well. So, yeah, does that basically answer your question?
I think so. I'm actually really into this newly emerging, very ancient practice of medicine that you're into. A lot of people don't realize this is not new age. It's older than old. It's just been suppressed and it's coming back out. But that's just my opinion. And are you messing around with the psilocybin in your therapy?
Messing around with. I have experienced it.
No, I mean, sorry.
I do not sit as a facilitator. Actually, I live in Wyoming, so it's not legal here anyway.
Okay.
But I have gone out of state and experienced it, which is actually a big part of my path. As I was healing from all the sequelae from the motorcycle thing, I did find psilocybin, and talk about opening up one's consciousness, right? And yeah, so that was one of the plant medicines that I've become acquainted with, and has helped me a great deal on my personal journey. So, yeah.
What's one that we may not know about that, since psilocybin is kind of old hat now? Is there? I just interviewed somebody that was using ketamine.
Mm-hmm. Ketamine is widely accepted now in psych circles. So there's formal, ketamine therapy in the clinic which is really interesting stuff. I have had the opportunity to experience that as well. Um, I have been on several ayahuasca journeys, which is amazing, very different. So yeah, it's interesting how each of the medicines kind of helps you to look at yourself in a different way.
I'm going to load up this next question because like I said, I have a little bit of knowledge of some of this stuff, and I've got my own personal interests and questions. What are some myths or misconceptions in metaphysical healing? And one that I found was the research into the pre-divinity of the soul, and how people that get their certification in hypnosis, they seem to all know about this textbook scientific methodology that seems to yield itself whenever any practitioner takes somebody to the theta state of consciousness. And on any patient, they always seem to get this information that's otherworldly about the pre-divine nature of the soul. So a lot of people think that metaphysical healing is kind of like placebo effect. It's not rooted in science. And can you talk to some of that?
Sure, absolutely. First off, though, to address placebo effect, even that has gotten a bad rap. You could take someone who has never had a cold in their life and suggest to them that going to visit wherever they're going, they'll probably get a cold, and they'll likely get a cold, just because our mind is such a powerful thing and our belief is such a powerful thing. So even if you know, even if something was rooted in placebo, it's not a bad thing. That being said, metaphysical healing is psychospiritual in that there's a connection to spirit as it's happening with both the practitioner and the client. So with that connection to spirit, there really is a lot of available energy, and not the little e energy, the big E stuff, that can be brought to the client to help to balance and to heal and things like that. So for a practitioner, see, to me, this work is just as important for practitioners as it is for somebody off the street doing some other job, because my personal philosophy is the cleaner the vessel, the clearer the channel. So, the more that we can work through our own things and come at it from an objective perspective and have that clear connection with spirit, the more that we can help out other people. And you're absolutely right. When I guide someone into that theta state, just amazing things happen. One of the things that I always do is to help the client connect with their own loving self, and which connects to spirit. And from that place, they're able to look at their junk, their muddy, icky, yucky stuff from a loving perspective with grace and with compassion, instead of just going, oh man, I really messed that up, and judging themselves. And so from that place of grace and compassion, which happens when you're connected to your loving self or your higher self, that's where really true healing can happen, and really seeing yourself for who you authentically are. Because we are, in my belief structure, and part of the cornerstone of my work is that we are spiritual creatures having a physical experience. So that's where I come from anyway.
That's been my discovery as well in my 50 years of digging deep. So I appreciate that. We know that marketing is the heart of every business. Mary, how do you digitally reach out to people to let them know what you do now? Who is your target market? We all know the people that the average person that knows this kind of stuff, or we picture in our mind who the average person that is always teaching us about these radical new forms of healing is in our lives or in our social structure. But there's probably the everyday person that doesn't know about this that could greatly benefit from it. Who are you? Who's your demographic, and how are you reaching out to them now digitally?
Typically, my avatar, if you will, is someone who is at least interested in spiritually minded things, if not someone who's been, on some sort of spiritually opening path to begin with, because it does make it a little easier. Most of my marketing is actually through my website and some with social media as well. So.
Nice. Have you ever thought about doing your own podcast?
Oh, it's been tickling around in my mind for a while.
Did you know I was going to ask that question?
I actually have listened to a couple of your previous recordings, so I was kind of anticipating it. But yeah, it's crossed my mind. I just haven't done anything about it yet.
What do you do for fun when you're not healing people?
Oh, I love the great outdoors. I love being in the elements, feeling and just interacting with all of them. I also have 3 dogs and a cat who take a lot of my time and attention and love them. And let's see, I love gardening. I actually really do enjoy playing Zelda games from time to time as well. So yeah.
Interesting. So you kind of told us earlier about a hardship that you ran into with the motorcycle accident. It sounds like that was the big hurdle that you've had to overcome in this quarter of your life, right?
Oh yeah, it was huge. It ended my career. It was devastating.
Can you expand on that a little bit and tell us how it made you stronger? What happened?
Oh, it made me stronger in every way possible. It wrecked me. I had the plan, as many military members do, of doing the full 20 years plus, and retiring at a certain rank and all the stuff, right? And yeah, so that one moment really brought that abruptly to a halt. I shattered one foot, which made running pretty much impossible for quite some time. But along with that, because there was so much, I was so invested in my career path, it really affected me on every level. And it wasn't until a few years later that I realized I'd been living in this, oh, woe is me victim mode, for years. And that's when when I was introduced to psilocybin as a medicine, and really had a huge shift from there. But yeah, going through those few years, I also had a traumatic brain injury with that. Wasn't severe, but it was enough that I could not connect to my own analytical ability, which is kind of essential for a physical therapist. So that took about 3 years to recover that. So, it was huge and affected me on so many levels.
Mary, what's one takeaway that people should remember about this interview regarding Evolve Healing Therapies?
That it's fun and it's useful, and there's absolutely no reason to live in suffering. There's ways out, and this is one of those ways. If I can take a second to also plug my other business.
Yes, go ahead.
I am co-owner with 2 other psychospiritual therapists of a company called Acuity Collective. And we do similar work, not one-on-one though, we do it with groups. So we have some online classes and live or online workshops that we're putting together. So yeah, big stuff coming.
Is there a way for people to find those things now, or is that coming later?
Our website is in the process of being developed. It's acuitycollective.net. And our first online class actually will launch in January. So I will definitely have information on that on my website as well.
Okay, talk to us about your website and social media addresses and a phone number, if you don't mind.
You got it.
Lastly.
So website is www.evolve-heal.com. And that's also the email, mary@evolve-heal.com. And social, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and it's at evolve.healing.therapies. Phone number, I'm up in Laramie. So area code 307-369-6017.
Awesome. Well, Mary, we really appreciate you being on the show, and we definitely wish you and Evolve Healing Therapies the very best moving forward.
Thank you. Very happy to be here, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpfortcollins.com. That's gnpfortcollins.com. Or call 970-438-0825.